Thanks for joining me today. I'm Daryl Ponton. Today we got some vacuum cleaning motors. We're going to dig into them. We're going to see if we can recover any valuable metals from. What you want to do is you're going to want to cut all the cords off of them. Now we're going to remove any visible screws that we can see. Most of the time they're 5/16 or 1/4 inch. A lot of these newer vacuums, they have aluminum windings and you're wasting your time taking them apart. Sometimes the armatures have copper in them and you can recover it from that. Now, all these vacuums are different. You never know how they're put together. This screw here, sometimes it can be counterclockwise, so if you're having a difficulty getting it off, it could be counterclockwise. You could be going the wrong way, or it just might be stuck. These propeller parts are always aluminum. It's not much, but when spinning, you need to wedge something in there. Yeah, I've tore a lot of vacuum motors apart. The more recent ones, the newer ones are always aluminum windings or a magnet motor. The older ones you got a better chance of recovering copper from. That's why you see a lot of scrappers just snip the cord and leave the vacuum. It's a lot of work and you end up with a lot of trash. Go through all that trouble and you end up with aluminum windings. Not a happy day. But we're going to see anyway. This one is not cooperating. Let's give this a shot and see what happens. Alright. You never know what to expect with these vacuums. You got screws and spots that you don't see. Most of the time it's a waste of time. It's about like scratch off tickets to odds. The odds are against you that you're going to get copper windings. At least you know by looking at this, it's got copper in the armature. Best way to do before you go any further is to snip this wire. I can tell you right now by how hard it's snipping, that's copper. So we're good on this one. Now we're going to stop here and we're going to move on to the next vacuum. We probably find 40 or 50 vacuums here easily. Most of them have a pretty good size cord, so when scrap prices were up, you're getting almost $1 a pound for extension cords and cutoffs. I'm not for sure what it is now. I'll check out what the prices are now and put it in the video. I'm sure it's probably only about 30 or 40 cents a pound right now. These are torque heads on this one way down in there. Yeah, sometimes they put the screws in difficult spots. Be nice to have a little extension, but I don't have one, so I'm gonna try other measures. Almost. There we go. Sounds so shiny. Moment of truth. Sometimes the color is hard to tell on these. As you can tell by how hard it is to snip. Copper's a lot harder to snip and bend than aluminum is. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Well, we got lucky. 2 out of 2 so far has got copper. See, now this one's got torque head. That's how you can tell it's newer. They're switching over to torque instead of Phillips, which I kind of like them. They don't slip as bad. I get a lot of garbage from this. Oh, there we go. hoping to see one of these with left-handed threads so I can show you what I'm talking about. Most of the time I just take a screwdriver and stick it right in there to help hold it. Sometimes it'll just rip it right off there though. Oh, that one's clockwise. That one's the right direction also. Alright, now it looks like they switched over to Phillips. Definitely need a little variety to take them apart. Pinch socket, Phillips, pair of snips. Yeah, see that's down in there far again. I cannot get to them. I need an extension. If I had an extension, I wouldn't have had to do this. What we got here? Feels like copper. How about that? 3 out of 3. Doing good. Right, vacuums it. I don't know. It's unusually lucky to get 3 vacuums in a row to get copper windings. Yeah, most of the newer stuff just don't last very long. That's why you find so much in the trash. They make it so cheap that you're lucky if it lasts a year or 2. That's why you can go buy them for 40, 50 bucks. Oh yeah. 4 out of 4 is copper. Got really lucky on that one. Looks like I gotta take these off to get this piece of plastic out of here. You're running the one with the left-handed screw and you're wondering why the damn thing don't come off of there. You'll get one. If you take enough of them apart, you'll get one eventually. Maybe this is the one. So far they've all been 1/2 inch on this 4 out of 4. Oh, that's the right way also. Was hoping to get a left-hander to show you. Oh, we got something else holding it in there. Can't quite see what. Now that we got all our motors removed, we're going to separate the armature from the field and remove any remaining plastic. Alright, for those that don't know, armature is the piece on the inside, right here. This is the field. Most of you probably know, but I'm sure there's a few of you that don't. Now some of the newer ones, this is a magnet. Alright, here's an example of a magnetic armature. This centerpiece doesn't have no windings. And they got a big magnet on it. It's a lot cheaper to make them without the copper. Even though the junk prices are low, mass production, if you got to spend a lot of money, you're not going to make a big profit. So they're going to reduce the spending amount to try to make the most money, which makes sense. It just makes everything cheaper. So you just got to go buy another one every year because they're cheap. Now these end screws, it's got torque on them also, but they're a little bit smaller. So you're definitely going to need a couple sizes of torque bits. And if you look at the end here, some of these have a brass bearing in the end. Now, a good part about these torque heads, sometimes if you don't have the torque head, a small Allen wrench will work also. Let's review what we recovered from the 4 vacuums. Now we got these armatures, we can't do nothing with them. So we're going to set them aside for the burn pile. Maybe about a pound of steel. Small amount of aluminum. Maybe 1 pound, pound and a half. We have some remaining electronic parts we can recover brass from. We can recover all the copper out of all 4 of these fields. Our next step is to snip the wires on the armature and recover the copper. You're going to want a good pair of wire cutters for this. The regular snips will cut it, but you have to do a couple strands at a time. Get your bigger set of wire cutters so you can cut it all at once. Before you try to pull this through, you want to straighten these out a little bit, make it a little easier pulling it through. If you have a hard time getting out, try to pull out just 1 or 2 strands. It'll make it a little easier to get out. Last step is to recover the valuable metals from the remaining items. Now you're going to snip off the little brass ends off of all these wires. Brass is about twice the price of insulated wire, maybe a little more. You're going to want to snip the ends off the cords too. Them are brass also. Just pull them out of there. The last item we have is these brushes. This is an older one and the casing for the brushes is brass. This is a valuable metal we recovered from the 4 vacuum motors. We have a little bit more steel, a small amount of brass. We got over 1.5 pounds of copper out of those 4 motors. So that's over 1/4 pound for each motor. Thanks for following me along on my scrapping adventure. Hope what we done was knowledgeable to you and helping you make a little bit of extra cash. We'll see you guys in the next one.